All right. The obviously the second half stunk. People are, some people are going to try and make, the people who are kind to us are going to try and make excuses that you're down to your third quarterback, but there are no excuses. I mean, we talked at the half about keeping our poise and making plays when we had the chance to make plays. We talked about doing a better job coming out of the half. And, we misfit lead week and the ball gets out on us. And really, I think you can tell the difference between a BCS top 10 team and a Mountain West, high mid-major, because when we don't fit it perfectly and we don't have anybody, it's hard for us to rally and catch those guys. I mean, that's top 10 athleticism in the country right there, and we can't afford to make mistakes like that. We come back, we go 3 and out, we punt it to them. They break the huddle quickly, and we're lackadaisical getting lined up. They run toss. We don't have a guy in the alley. I mean, these are the type of things that good teams simply can't do. We have 3 kickoffs in the end zone that we take out. They get to the 13, the 10, the 16. I mean, we're not. Our football IQ right now is not where it needs to be, and that starts with me. 4 or 5 personal fouls, unacceptable. Some of them just happen in the course of a game, a face mask. I'm not quite sure about the late hit on the quarterback. I got to see it on tape, but there's other stuff that we just got to be smarter. And frankly, towards the end of the game, we didn't tackle very well at all. Now, that being said, there's no excuse for the 2 long plays coming out of the half, but I don't think there's any doubt that our defense was very, very tired at the end of the game. We couldn't generate a first down in the second half. Down to our third quarterback, Devin got a knee in the first half and tried to go but couldn't. And when the opponent, and an opponent as good as this, knows that your threat of a passing game is limited, they can load up the box. That being said, in the first half, I did think our offense fought their tail off. I mean, we controlled the time of possession like we had hoped to. I thought Chris Solomon did an outstanding job. He's a guy that was 4th or 5th on the depth chart in August, and he started against Florida State and carried the ball 26 times for 108 yards with only a long of 23, which means he grounded it out. I mean, he got tough yards. What we have to do right now is we got to go home. We got to put this film on. And I told the team this. We're going to put it on, and we're going to be honest about it, and we're going to be truthful about it. And we're going to figure out who was competing at the end and who wasn't, and the guys that were are going to be the guys that we move forward with. And we will, we'll be honest about this one. And everybody's got to have a thick skin, starting with me and our staff and our players. And then once it's done, we're going to bury it, and we're going to get ready for Mountain West Conference play, and we're going to go into the Hawaii week 0-0, and that's our mentality, and that's what we're going to do. By no stretch of the imagination are we making any excuses, and we're not hiding from this. Like I said before, we're going to be honest about it, and then we're going to bury it, and we're going to get ourselves ready to play in our league. So, with that being said, I'll take any questions.
This game kind of strike you as pretty similar to the UCLA game?
Yes.
Just the scoring,
Yes, unfortunately, yes. We're fighting our tail off with an opponent that, frankly, probably has better personnel than us and certainly has better depth. We're fighting our tail off for a half. We come out of the half, we talk about keeping our poise and doing the things that we need to do to keep the game within striking distance, and we misfit the first run and it goes out the gate. And then we can't get a first down, kick it back to them, and we don't get aligned. And those are things that the coaches need to be held accountable for, starting with me, but frankly, the players need to be held accountable for as well. Because why can we do it in the first half and then come out in the second half and can't do it then? So we're all going to, starting with me, we're all going to look at this film and be very honest about what we could do better.
What was the decision-making process on, whether Fajardo would be able to fill or not?
It was whether or not, frankly, he could protect himself. And we got to Thursday and decided that He just was not mobile enough, especially against a very, very athletic defense like this. He wasn't mobile enough to protect himself. So that was the decision. And frankly, it was the same one we made with Devin in the second half. Devin thought he was going to give it a try, and looking at him move, it was clear that he was not healthy enough to go. So, I'm not going to guess as to what Cody's status is going to be moving forward. We won't have an idea on that until tomorrow evening. I know that him being here with us and continuing to get treatment was a good thing. We'll put out whoever's healthy and we'll go compete.
Brian, Jameis Winston on film compared to Jameis Winston in person.
I knew he wasn't going to. He practically pitched a perfect game against Pitt. I knew that wasn't going to continue, but other than that, lived up to all the hype. I was proud of our defense. We picked him off. We hit him a couple times. He was a little bit more mobile in the pocket, escaped, running for a touchdown. A real player. We've, in my opinion, in the first two out of our 3 games, we have seen some of the top quarterbacks in the country. Not compared to us. Compared to all the people I've seen. These are 2 really, really good players that we faced.
Well, it may not, be an excuse, but it had to be, somewhat difficult for your third-string quarterback to be. I guess this was his first game action, right?
Well, I got in a little bit against UC Davis, but clearly Florida State and UC Davis are going to look different. Hey, look, there's no doubt that our inability. You lose a lot of your offense when your third's in there, and it's not. Look, we love Tyler, but he's the third for a reason. If he was good enough to be the first, he'd be the first. He's young. He's still got some growing to do. So clearly, when you put your guy out there, your third's out there, it limits what you can do. And against a team like Florida State, we can't be limited. So look, I'm not naive to think that part of the deal at the end of the game was the fact that our defense is simply exhausted. They were out there forever, but that does not excuse the first 2 touchdowns coming out of the half because we're coming out of the break. We need to do a better job.
So do you take then out of these first 3 games, the UCLA game and this game especially, do you take, hey, we played pretty well with a couple top 25 teams for 2 halves, or do you take?
It's a little bit of both. It's a fair question, but it's a little bit of both. I don't want them ever to think that it's okay to play these 2 halves that we played, the second half of UCLA and the second half of today. That being said, I learned a long time ago, and it's something that Don Shula taught my dad, that my dad taught me, is that every time you go out there and you play, there has to be some positives. You have to find some positives that you can build off of. And clearly, if we step back and if I could try to take the emotion out of 2 really bad halves of football, if you look back on it, you can say, okay, for the first half of each of these games, we stood toe-to-toe with 2 of the top 15 teams in the country. We don't look like they look. We don't have the resources that they have, and we certainly don't have the depth that they have. And for a half, we stood toe-to-toe trading punches. But that's still not. It still doesn't make. Look, if we'd lost this game 35-7 because we're down to our third quarterback and we just competed our tail off and they were just better, I could live with that. But I don't feel that way. I felt like a lot of the problems in the second half were self-inflicted wounds, and I can't be okay with that, and I'm not okay with that.
A little bit more on Solomon. I think I remember in the spring you said, I said, he looked pretty good, and you said, well, he's still a freshman, he's still doing freshman things. Has he grown up a lot in these last 4 or 5 months?
No, he's grown up a lot in the last 8 days because he was still making those freshman mistakes in training camp and in the first week and not knowing who to have in pass protection and stepping the wrong way. Clearly the guy he's got physical ability. We weren't hiding him. You had to trust him, and we didn't quite trust him. But we had the opportunity in the second half of the Davis game to get him in, and he flashed. And we told him on Sunday after the Davis game, you have earned the right to get significantly more reps in practice, and now it's up to you to decide what you're going to do with it. And the guy practiced his tail off all week, and he studied really hard, and he prepared himself. And I think what we just saw is the development of a young player starting to figure it out, what it takes to prepare and play college football at the Division 1A level. I think he's starting to figure it out. And trust me, nobody's happier than me. I mean, we knew he had ability. You had to figure out how to act and prepare and practice like a Division 1A player. In the last week, he's earned the reps that he got, and he took full advantage of it.
Can you talk about the status now of Jackson and Brock? I don't think he got on the field either.
No, Kendall. He tried to go, but he couldn't. I mean, we're clearly banged up at that position. He's just got a knee. He took a helmet on the knee, and it was swollen, and we couldn't get the swelling to come down throughout the week. And anybody's had a swollen knee, it's hard to be a running back. Had he been an offensive guard, might be different, but when it's a skill player, it's hard. Don't roll your eyes. I mean, they're all day to day. I mean, we had hopes that we would have them both back. We didn't. I'm not going to sit here and judge how an athlete's body is feeling. We can only trust. The only thing that is important to me is that these guys are doing everything they can possibly do to get back, and they have been. So after that, if they tell me, hey, I just can't go, then they can't go.
If we can assume all three are healthy, do you have a three-headed running back controversy?
I'm not going to sit Chris Solomon down. He's earned the right to continue to play. And we're going to ask the other two if they've ever heard of Wally Pipp. And because, look, the guy's earned the right. You run for 100 yards against Florida State. And it's not like you got 50 of them at the end. I mean, he got them against most of his yards against their frontline defense. So you do that, you've earned the right to continue to carry the ball.
Anybody dinged up from this one? Looked like Favors maybe?
Yeah, we had a stinger or two. We got to see how Devin's doing. I think Evan had a stinger. Dobie may have gotten, I think he may have got something on the knee. I mean, it's just, look, I'm not making excuses, but we've had just a hell of a week. I mean, we're the only team in America that's got 3 guys that have had pneumonia in August. I mean, we've got another guy down with pneumonia. We had a car accident on Thursday that Travis Wilson was involved in. Lorenzo Devers and Travis Wilson are coming in for morning meetings. They get broadsided on campus. Devers has got a shoulder now as a result, and Travis Wilson, the dashboard crumbled in and got his knee. He tried to go today. The knee swelled up immediately. I mean, if we didn't have bad luck right now, we wouldn't have any. But we've got to persevere and push through it.
Did you have guys miss the game because of pneumonia?
Yes, Zach Brickell was not on the trip. Backup offensive lineman. We had to shuffle some things around. 57's out with the ankle. I mean, it's just we haven't been whole yet this year, and that's part of the problem, frankly, with playing 2 top 15s in your first 3 weeks of the season. I mean, you got to be concerned about physically, are we going to be intact to play the conference schedule? And right now, I may have to take a look at how to practice this week because as much as I want to live tackle, we only got so many guys that can play, and we got to get them to the game.
A couple quick, positive moments. Obviously, the interceptions. You just talked a little about, Bryson being in the right place, right time, kind of.
I mean that's the thought of our defense is that we're gonna try pressure the passer. We're gonna try to force tips and overthrows, and the safety's got to be there to make plays. And I was glad that we got to see it, and it was a great momentum play. I mean, I tried the fake field goal, and that's on me. And I knew field goals weren't going to win the game. And look, I said we weren't coming here to try and keep it close, which obviously we didn't. But we were trying to win the game. And, we call the fake field goal. It doesn't work, and we're able to go 3 and out with an interception and offensively convert it into points. So when we go back to what can you take away positively from this, there are positive things to take away. There's no doubt. And we won't, just like we won't hide from the truth on the other end of it, we'll make sure that we teach from the positives as well.
And then the last one, if I may. Were you surprised to see Florida State take the quarterback away more today in the dive game, the read option game?
I don't know. Maybe they were worried about Devin Combs running the ball. I don't know. everybody plays the stuff a little bit differently, and you can see clearly, when we're whole and you have the threat of pass, it can be effective, even against really, really good people. I mean, I thought, you put the fake field goal on me. We're just trying to make a play, but we had thrown a fade on third down before, and I thought maybe had a chance to make a play. I couldn't see. It was across the field, but upstairs they told us we had our hands on it. So, systematically what we're doing, even against a great, great defense, I mean, we had an opportunity to score points in the first half. But, again, when you're down to your third quarterback, you can't. I mean, nobody can be one-dimensional. I mean, if nobody can be one-dimensional. And then when you're in a deal where, you're playing against that team, it's nearly impossible to be one-dimensional, which is, I mean, we sort of were in the second half.
So he was like Cody. He took the hit to the knee and stayed in for a while.
Yeah. Tough kid. We got tough guys.
Thanks, Coach.
We good? Thanks.
Brock, I guess you guys got off to another really good fast start against these guys. What does it say to you what you guys are capable of with your first half here and the first half against UCLA?
I mean, to me, it really just shows our potential as a defense and as a team. And it's really, over these next couple of weeks, it's just going to be about combining that first quarter, into the second quarter and carrying that energy and that momentum throughout the whole game.
It seems like we see this all over the country at times where, there's like a mid-major going up against the top 10 and they stay close for a while, and then when it goes sideways fast. Can you explain how that happens, I guess?
I mean, that's a great football team right there. And when you have the little mistakes, they're going to turn touchdowns when you're playing a team like that. So you just have to, align the sign and not have so many mental errors out on the field.
They've got a very good offensive line. How'd you guys get some pressure on them early?
Just movement, twists, working our moves. I mean, like I said, they're a great football team, and that was a great offensive line.
Rafael, what were your impressions of Winston?
He's a great guy. He moves well, throws the ball well, reads his keys. And, when he's under pressure, he can move too. So, I mean, he's a great quarterback.
I mean, scheme-wise, what were you most impressed with?
Just their intensity off the ball. I mean, they moved, they were fast. And it was fun to play a team like that.
When you started the game without your number one quarterback, and then you lose number two, what effect did that have on you, perhaps psychologically, to know you've got your third guy that you've got to depend on?
I mean, I really don't think it affected us much. I mean, we're playing defense, and, we weren't missing anyone. We were out there to compete and play the best that we could, and we were focused on our game. Sure, it's difficult for the offense, but I feel like, as a team, we're comfortable with whoever we put back there. I mean, we're going to believe in our teammates.
They broke off a couple of long runs there in the second half. Tell us what happened there.
I mean, I haven't watched the film yet, but I'm assuming it was just a line and assignment errors. I don't feel like anyone really messed up super bad. It was just, not being at the right place at the right time.
Brock, how do you keep your focus, I guess, and obviously you got to be going 100%, when things start going sideways like that, like they did in the second half, how do you maintain that intensity?
You just got to look at it how Coach tells us, and that's just one play at a time. When you mess up one play, think about it, reflect on it. All right, well, you got to play the next one. The next play is just important as the play you just messed up on. So now it's time to make up for it.
Did it feel like FSU was coming at you guys in waves in terms of their depth?
Not necessarily. I felt like it was pretty consistent. I went against 75 most of the game. A little bit of the tight end too. So those are the main two guys that I saw.
Winston said that he was impressed with you on video. Did you hear about that on film?
I did hear about that. Yeah.
He was talking about your haircut.
Yeah, something like that. And we spoke after the game, and it was fun.
Did?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
What did he say to you?
He was just like, nice haircut, man. Played hard. So thanks, man. You too.
Anything else for Rob? Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Brian.
His name is Rock.
53.
What?
53.
Questions for Bryson?
Bryson, I just wanted to ask you a little bit. You guys got a pretty big momentum play right out of the gate there with your pick. Can you just talk about how that play developed and what you saw?
Originally, I was just doing my assignment, just doing my part. We were in cover 2, so I had a deep half, exit angle, got my back pedal. I just read the quarterback size. I seen he try to throw it up the seam, just like he did like the first big play, big throw they got on us. So I was watching out for that the second time, and I was just lucky enough to be in the right place, and he overthrew it, made the play on it.
What does a play like that do for you guys, especially coming into an atmosphere like that?
It was very big. It gave the whole team momentum. It really gave us that boost of energy to, and a boost of confidence, and it just made everybody want to play harder, and that showed in the next few drives. Everybody, was hungry.
And then, the momentum shifts the other way just before halftime. How hard, again, in this atmosphere, how hard is it to kind of get that back again once it's switched?
It's real hard, but, you can't let it get to you. You got to just play the next play and try to make a play so you can get momentum back on your side. You got to just try to do your best to be mentally tough and not let it affect you.
You came into the game without your number 1 quarterback, then your number 2 gets hurt. You're relying on your number 3, a guy who's got very little playing time. How did that affect you guys, both physically, on the field and psychologically?
All these guys from 1s to 3 are expected to, to know everything. So nobody was nervous or anything. We didn't have no excuses for Cody not being in the game or Devin getting hurt. It's just the next guy just has to step up and play.
Bryson, what do you know about this team at this point after, a couple up and down games against top 25 teams, a blowout against an FCS team? What do we know about this team right now?
All I know is we haven't played our best game yet, and we haven't played our best game through 4 quarters yet. And, we will, and we're going to get it together, and we're going to move forward.
What were your impressions with Winston, FSU quarterback, and his ability?
He could do some things. He was pretty mobile. He seemed like a big, strong quarterback. But I couldn't really go into this game looking at him, different than anybody else. You got to treat each opponent the same.
Scheme-wise, did they do anything differently, or pretty much what you expected?
Yeah. We was prepared for what they were going to do. It's just we just didn't make enough plays.
Anything else?
All right, thank you.
Devin, this game looked a lot like the UCLA game to me. Did you see it that way?
Yes, we came out firing all cylinders in the first half. In the second half, we just let off the gas. Florida State was a good team. They came out and executed their game plan well in the second half, and stopped us from doing some things that we wanted to do.
And throw this at you like I just did with Bryson. What do you know about this team at this point? It seems like it's really hard to know after 3 games how good or not good this team might be.
I mean, of course, we had some missing parts, taking on to the game today. And, with Devin going down, we really don't know where we stand right now. Defense play, they showed some flashes, and the offense did as well. It's a lot of things that we need to improve on, and that's why we're going to the drawing board tomorrow, and we're going to, go into conference play and, look to find our identities for this season.
What's your concern level about where this team is health-wise? You're down to third-string quarterback, third-string running back.
I mean, that's a football season. Injuries accumulate, over time, and that's what happened. We had a rough fall camp. Season's just been rough. It's ups and downs, and that's something we have to face and get better at. We got to help, these players, to try to stay healthy and, keep them healthy throughout the season.
How do you think Devin and Tyler played today?
Devin played a good game, until he went down. Tyler stepped in. He had some big shoes to fill, with Cody going down and Devin going down also. But they played pretty good. You can't ask for much. We weren't helping them out a lot up front and with the receivers at all. So he did what he could.
And can you talk a little bit about that touchdown play? It looked like it was very much like the same kind of route on the previous drive, the one that just went off your fingers.
No, it was a completely different route. The first one, he played press bail, and he got like a fingertip on it at the last minute. And I told Devin, give me another chance, and he did on the corner route. It was actually a corner route. I was the 2 receiver at that time.
Having to rely on a third-string quarterback who hasn't seen much action, how did that affect you both on the field and psychologically?
I mean, it's rough, because you don't prepare going into a game with your third-string quarterback. But, Tyler, he did good. Like I said, for the weapons he had available, he used those, and, it just didn't come out, how we wanted the game to come out.
Think it could have been different if everybody was healthy?
I'm not going to say it could have. I'm not going to say that it wouldn't have, but, I mean, that's just something we, all live in doubt. We don't really know how it would have came out.
Were you surprised at all to see some of the success you guys had running the ball against these guys tonight?
Not at all. In the first half, they came with a 3-down lineman, and in the second half they changed that up and went 4-down lineman. But no, we weren't surprised at all. I mean, Nevada's been known for running the football, and that's what we do.
Anything else?
Yep.
Safe travel. You too.
Thanks.